Good morning, it's Penuel the Black Pen. So I was rewatching a TikTok video that I've once posted on my socials, and I'm probably gonna post it again. It's this relatively young white gent who is speaking about how the West comes into Africa, colonizes countries, and then manufactures systems so that the countries can't actually get themselves out of poverty. And he uses Zaire, which we know as the DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, today, on how they make agreements with the leadership of how they're going to send IMF officials to go be a part of government or to consult with government to ensure that the people en masse are mining at the cheapest rate possible, farming at an industrial scale at the cheapest rate possible. And then they give them all these strangling loans that they can never get out of. They don't allow that government to print money like the Federal Reserve in America. They don't allow those governments to set the value of their currencies. They always have to listen to America, Europe, the United Kingdom, and parts of Asia to dictate what their currencies are worth, etc. And I keep thinking about Africans and the African issue. I've come to accept that the masses of Africans will forever remain children. They will forever remain at the bottom. They will forever remain ignorant. And even when you offer certain solutions in education, they will not take it up. It is maybe not in their nature, maybe the systems are too strong, whatever the case may be. So it is then left on leaders. And by leaders, I'm not talking the political or traditional leaders on the continent, because those ones have been proven to be in bed with the exact same oppressors of the masses. So by leaders, I'm talking about people who have seen how the systems work and who still have a pain for the masses to say, we will fight against the current systems and we will build better systems so that Africans live as comfortably as Europeans, as Americans, as certain people in the East, in Asia, certain parts of Asia at the very least. While I was watching this video, I thought of this idea that as much as we love the idea of a sovereign currency, the Rand in South Africa, maybe it is time that South Africa abandons the Rand and takes on the American dollar and takes on the euro and takes on the British pound and takes on the Japanese yen and takes on the Chinese yuan, the RMB from China, and then add Bitcoin for now. Maybe other cryptos will come later. Why do I say this? I say this because when you look at developed countries versus underdeveloped countries like parts of Africa, the major difference in the currencies and the economies is that their economies are built on a lot of intangible things you can't touch. If you look at the African context and parts of Asia, the poorer parts of Eastern Europe, which are the poorer parts of Europe, you realize that the value of things is based on real things. The gold, the cows, the land, those are real things. When you go to an American or Europe, their value is not largely based on that. Their value is based on intangible things. So we'll send a gold bar from the DRC to America. We sell it, let's say, from the Congo just for ease of example, we sell it for $100 to America. As soon as it gets to America, the Americans don't value it at $100. They value it at $500 because they just decided that the extra $400 is how they deem it to be worth. I will make an artwork in South Africa. I will sell it to an American for $100. That American will take the exact same artwork I sold to him. He will sell it to a European or to someone else for $1,000 because they've just added $400 to $900 extra in intangible value. You see it in the luxury goods space, where luxury goods are manufactured in poor countries. They are sourced for cheap, but then they are sold at a huge premium. You see it with motor vehicles. You see it, like I said, with mining goods. You see it with farming goods. And it's not always beneficiated or processed. So it's one thing to take tomatoes from Africa, turn them into tomato sauce overseas, and then sell them at a premium. It's another thing to take tomatoes in Africa, turn them into tomato sauce in Africa, sell them to America, and then Americans quadruple the price just because. So if South Africans and maybe Africans could embrace, like Zimbabwe, the American dollar, the pound, when they trade, they will trade in the same currency, which should make trading easier with the rest of the world, especially because the dollar is like a global currency. So if we're trading with China, with Russia, if we're trading with Argentina, it's easy. We don't have to do conversions. We're like Whatever the American dollar is worth, we'll sell at that. That's the first part. The second part is, now that we're selling in the American dollar, we are going to sell at the American rate. Very, very important. Now that we are selling at the American dollar, in the American dollar, we will sell at the American rate. What that means is, if in America a gold bar is $500, we will make a gold bar here $500. Don't ask us about but the rand and the currency. No. If you guys are selling an artwork for $200, that same artwork is $200 here. If visiting a certain museum in America is $10, when you visit our museum, you will pay $10. That is now mostly for tourists and for the rest of the world. For the local economy, we can say if you have a South African ID, the rate changes. And this is not illegal. This happens in so many different countries. Even at the universities in South Africa, charge foreign students a higher rate than local students. You can be like, if you produce a South African ID, what costs $10 to Americans, to the British, to whoever, for you will be $1 because you are local. We are not trying to milk you. We are trying to milk the rest of the world because they do that to us. And we do that with the big currencies in the world to make it easy to trade and to travel, but to link our value at their value. So if the Americans decide, look, we think this thing is now worth $500, sure, in South Africa it will be the same. If your iPhone now costs $300, and if we do the maths and we're like, well, the lithium or the cobalt or the coltan or whatever it is you use in that phone is coming from our continent and it is valued at that price, we will sell it to you at that price. You will not take our lithium and our cobalt and our coltan and our gold and our iron ore and our coal at a fraction of the price in a weak currency, which further weakens the price. And then you price at a premium so that you guys can remain rich. We see the same thing in South Africa, where you will find wealthier neighborhoods, rich, white, and a few black neighborhoods, where they source from townships and from the villages. You go and you buy a cow from a village for 2,000 rand, for 5,000 rand. You bring it to suburbia, you clean it up a little bit, or you take it to Karen Beef, where they say that they feed it and fatten it. You take that same cow you bought for 5,000 rand, you invest maybe 2,000 rand in that cow, which should be 7,000, and then you sell that cow for 25,000 rand to the market. Worse, if you slaughter that cow at the abattoir, if you cut it into pieces, and then you sell it in a butchery at a retail store, you've taken a 5,000, 7,000 rand cow, and you've probably turned it into 40,000 rand. Let the person in the village, if he knows a cow is 25,000 rand, let them sell it to you at 25,000 rand, less transport costs. But you won't do that because you know your biggest value lies in underpaying where you get these things and then adding this crazy premium so that the other people, you'll keep milking from them. You'll keep milking from these people. I go and I work at KFC, at McDonald's. I go and I work at some store and they pay me a certain amount of money. But with that amount of money, the value they're selling the KFC and the McDonald's at is 10 times what they are paying me. Not to say they must pay me at the same rate. They have to consider rent, they have to consider marketing, they have to consider all these things. But they're not making it fair. I'm not getting a fair value, because if I knew the fair value and I said, please stop paying me a salary. If we're selling a piece of chicken for 10 rand, we as the staff, because we know the cost of production, and we know you also need to feed back to your shareholders, we would like a 20% commission of gross profit from every piece of chicken sold. It doesn't matter if the price goes up, if it goes down of the chicken, it doesn't matter. And we'll see the income statement and we'll see, oh, okay, this is fair. We want 20% of gross profit. No, that's not how it works. We negotiate. No, we are negotiating with you. We are telling you we want 20%. And that's now leadership that cares about the people that are creating the things. And this is how you empower the people. Unfortunately, things are not going to change. But I think it's time, even at an individual level, maybe start looking into pricing at the dollar and start, if people say, I want a market-related rate. The market-related doesn't need to be South African. It can be American, can be European, can be Chinese. If Vusi Tembekwayo is charging at an American rate of $3,000 for a talk, I will charge it $1,000 for a talk. Yeah, but what about in South African rands? Whatever $1,000 is, you will pay me that. These are trustees sent to me by the Garmentz company. I've been working with them, marketing some of their stuff. Really, really good quality school shoes. This is the box it came in. Trustees. They sell these in bulk. I'll make another video explaining their business model, etc. I'm only posting this to thank Garmentz for sending me a sample to see the shoes. They send me one pair, but I'm going to, on my own account with my own money, I'm going to buy another 10 pairs or another 9 pairs so that it's 10. And I want to donate school shoes to needy kids. So if you go to my Instagram, if you go to my Twitter, my X, and you go to the DM, please explain to me very short which kid you know, their size, where they are based, that needs school shoes desperately. And I will make sure that I get Garmentz to send me these school shoes, or maybe to send them straight to you via PEP, so that you can get shoes just from me as a gift to some of you, to say I will donate 10 school shoes to needy kids anywhere in South Africa where there's a PEP. I will send them via PEP Paxi. But I want to thank Garmentz for these shoes. If you want to buy them in bulk, I'll put their contact details in the description. You can buy these in bulk for your school, if you want to do them for charity. I know if you buy a certain amount, they also donate extra pairs of shoes for you to be able to donate to anyone or to the school of your choice. Trustees, quality school shoes. A lot of people, a lot of kids wear them. And as we start discussing back to school, very, very worthy investment. And on my own account, I'm going to be donating 10 pairs of school shoes to needy kids. Just tell me a short story of why your kid or a kid that you know in your area somewhere needs a pair of shoes, their shoe size, and how we can get them to you. And I will respond on Twitter. I will respond on Instagram at GodPenwell, which is one word. I'll drop that in the description as well. Have a great and blessed day. Let's keep chatting. Let's keep growing together. Cheers.